All right.
Beginning clip. Crack your yerb.
Make sure I'm comfortable. Crack the yerb. I use our oven. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, folks at home, welcome to the first episode of the Bass and Bumps talk show. I'm going to call it a talk show. This is not a podcast. I hate podcasts. There's too many podcasts. And here we are making a podcast. So I love it. It is currently July 8th, and we are sitting in the middle of Cypress, Texas, in a hurricane. It's lovely. So we were like sitting around. I was like, hey, Anthony, let's record a podcast episode right here in the hurricane. So here we are, and we're going to chill. We're going to drink some caffeine. We're going to enjoy the storm, probably watch some sheet metal and debris get thrown around, and we're just going to kind of chat. I want this to be an open-ended type video thing where we just kind of sit down with different people in person. I feel like I meet a lot of interesting people, and I want to have them on the channel for talks because I talk to people a lot, and I feel like we have lots of good, interesting talks, and I want to share that with people. So we're just going to spitball, let this run, and I guess we'll start it off with Anthony. Who are you? And tell your story.
Yeah, my name's Anthony Lee. I am the owner of the Tackle Shack here in Cypress, Texas. It's a bass fishing, really concentrated specialty store that's really focused on, providing stuff that's pretty hard to get, from around the world. Yep. And, really having this community-centric environment, this culture where, we encourage loitering at the shop. You see that.
Yeah.
People come by, just hang out.
There's a no soliciting sign on the door, but there's no loitering sign.
Yes, I don't want solicitors, but I'm totally welcome with fishermen and all the lies that they want to tell me. No, I'm kidding. Everybody's welcome. I absolutely love community. Give back, supporting them, whatever I can do. If we can do fundraising, I've had a long history of that. So it's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't believe I left the tech world and I got to create a fishing store.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's a great deal. I have really thoroughly enjoyed the vibes of the store. Now that I've worked a few days, come to the events and stuff like that. And there's actually an event. Whoa. There's actually an event coming on this Saturday, the 13th, which you guys will be listening to this the day after on Sunday. So that will have already passed. Today is Monday. But there's an event. Maddie Wong's going to be there. I'm going to be there. We're going to be doing a seminar thing, talking. The wind's going to blow my hair around a little bit.
I'm waiting for a house to fly into us right now.
To get hit in the head with something. Have to cut it off short. So the lake level actually rose, 4 or 5 foot last night?
Yep.
It was all the way down, and the kayaks were on the shore, and we tied them down with the little anchors in the ground, and now it is over the fence. And I think it's going to come up even farther because we're still getting rain. We're still getting runoff for sure. It's very interesting.
I don't know when it's going to stop, but we always see random pool stuff floating by.
Or there's a trampoline down the street over here that got blown away that was going on.
But on a serious note too, this is the first hurricane of 2024, and this is the first hurricane for me.
Yeah. This is your first hurricane. Yeah. This is the first hurricane that I've been in the eye of for sure. It was over the eye of it was over Cypress for a good hour there. And it was real calm and chill and weird. There was a black wall sitting around. It was crazy. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but the sun was peeking through a little bit. I've never been directly in one. I've been kind of on the outskirts here and there, but this is definitely a fun experience. Anthony said last night, he was like, hey man, if you want to leave, you can. And I was like, no, I'm riding this out.
We got to ride or die here. So we're good on that one.
This is good stuff. And this is only a Cat 1, so if we get a Cat 2 or 3, I'll be back. I need to see a little more destruction. This one's pretty mild as on my scale. Like
we joked about earlier, I was like, we'll do the hurricane podcast. So I suspect we're going to actually have a lot of hurricanes this year. And this is just a little warm up because it's my first hurricane I've ever been in.
Why do you think there's going to be a lot this year?
The Gulf has been really warm. Mm-hmm. The humidity's right. The temperature, when I say warm, we're talking surface temps in the 90s in the Gulf. Yeah. That's straight paddleboard water for you in the Gulf, minus the hammerheads or whatever sharks that can eat your legs off. But I think with the weather and how everything's playing out, and last year we had no hurricanes at all.
Yeah.
I think we're due for a heavy one. And this hurricane barrel, we shouldn't even be having hurricanes yet. They should probably start late next month. So I guess we'll do this hurricane podcast, tackle talk, shop talk, marshal talk. We'll do this. Every time there's a hurricane, you're welcome back to the house.
I hope there's another one. Okay. I hope that everybody's safe, but I do hope there is another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to see a little bit of chaos and destruction every once in a while. It kind of gives you a good reset. You know what I mean?
There will be, and they'll be like, next time I'll be like, hey, because you're up at Kyle's like just recently, and we're like, hey, I know you're at Kyle's up in Minnesota right now. We got this Cat 3 coming. Can you make the drive down? You're like,
I'm on my way.
I'll be right there.
I'm on my way, packing up right now.
Yes.
I'm excited.
We'll have you survive through it.
No, it's good stuff.
Am I allowed to eat while we talk?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Just
cool.
cover the mic. I'm gonna. This is a no boundaries podcast. Eating, drinking, farting, burping, all that probably. A little bit of that. Hurricane.
We do that too.
Rain. Yeah, we do that in person. So it's like, why would we go off the camera? You know what I mean? But yeah, I kind of wanted to know. So you said you left the tech world, right? Like, what originally inspired you? Like, hey, I wanted to make a tackle shop. How long have you been fishing? Like, start there. Like, where did you start fishing, and then where did your life path lead you to here? Because this is kind of crazy. Like, this is a lot different than what your upbringing is.
So if we go all the way back before, like right after I finished diapers, I was 10 years old. No, I was 10 years old, okay. And I totally finished diapers well before that. So my parents told me.
People are gonna be wondering, like, who is this guy now?
Yeah, no, 10 years old. I was fishing. I was playing ice hockey at the time, actually. And there was this Elite Series guy, which you know his name, Chris Zaldane. And Chris and I played ice hockey together, and we'd go to his house after, ride dirt bikes, play paintball, get hurt, and then after we were hurt, we'd go into this creek across the street from his house, and we'd go fishing there, and then that's where I got hooked on fishing, right? So I've been fishing since I was 10, but I also rode BMX bikes. So back then, that was like my main priority, but then I kept getting hurt riding BMX bikes that eventually I had to start fishing, and I always was loyal to this one shop called Cuddy Bait and Tackle in San Jose, California, and I worked there for a little bit. Went through college, did college fishing. Fishing was always part of my life, and fast forward through, I worked for this tech company called Zoom, and that was a fantastic ride.
Zoom, never heard of that one.
Yeah, never Zoom. What's Zoom? The baits, right? So after we went through Zoom, it was totally cool. I had a great time there, great time building that company. Then I went to another startup, and the startup, the culture was very toxic. And I'm all about positivity. I'm all about good energy, all that type of stuff. And I had this might be TMI, so you can edit this out if you want. You don't have to.
It's going in.
I'm just letting you know. I had this counterpart that she lives here in Houston too, and she would always throw me under the bus. What people don't know is I was speaking. I was a guest speaker at this event. Yeah. And I got a call from my wife at like 4:45 in the morning, and she said, "Hey, you need to check the cameras. I think someone's trying to get into our house right now." I'm like, oh shit. So we did what we had to do, and then I packed my stuff and I flew home from my event. Right. I came down here, and then I got lectured by that person that lives here in Houston saying, your wife was fine, your family was fine. Why'd you even leave? And I was like, I don't want to work with this company anymore. This is a terrible company. My family always comes. Yeah,
that's like should be a courtesy thing, you know.
But and then I told my wife that day, I said, Ben, maybe it's time we get out of this tech world stuff, and I said, maybe this is my midlife crisis, but I want to open a tackle shop, like something that can benefit the community, and I can do that I'm passionate about, and share that with others, and like really create a culture of fishing. Right. So fast forward, that was 6 months ago, and then we're here, and I'm so blessed to have the most amazing community backing this up, and.
It moves fast, right?
They are.
I think humans are. It's funny because like I always try and bring things back to like a primal level, like brain, like animal level stuff. Humans are inherently social. Like we need, like it's on the pyramid of things we need. You know what I mean? You need food, water, a house, and social interaction. Like
someone to talk to. Just give me someone to talk to.
Yeah, it is necessary for your survival, and I think that. Like especially a lot of times now, like companies and stuff, it's all about the profit, and nothing else matters. That is the 100%, like it is about the profit or nothing else. And I think that, I don't know, I enjoy doing what I do. I don't make a lot of money. You don't make a lot of money. Nobody in the fishing industry makes a lot of money, but it's built off of everybody helping each other out and being friendly and having good connections and stuff like that. And that it feels fulfilling. You know what I mean? You're helping people out, people are helping you out, and everybody's like, I got you, dude. You know, and that's a good sense. And I feel like you need that. You can't live your entire life working for someone who thinks that you are a number in a machine, a cog.
We talked about this before, like, you know, I think like probably like 4 or 6 weeks ago. I believe that, all these companies out there are trying to make as much money as possible. I've said it time and time again. I don't care how much money the Tackle Shack makes. I really don't, because as long as we continue to be passionate, empathetic, really look after and just teach that reliance amongst one another is the key to success. I think that will drive the success. Yeah. As long as we do not stray far from our core values and we stay close to those core values, I think it could be very good. That's what I'm seeing. It's just you see the interactions. You got to work a couple days in the shop. Like the way that customers come in, they're just so excited to just be a part of this. They should be preparing for a hurricane.
Preparing for a hurricane. And no, yesterday they were coming in the shop to sit down and talk for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Chat fishing, shop for baits and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And it's fun. It is fun to be in there. I enjoyed my 2 shifts yesterday. That was or yesterday and the day before.
Well, if you enjoyed them, we can give you more.
I did, yeah.
You want more shifts?
I would like that actually.
There's no overtime.
That would be you know. I enjoy working here. I think the building that community sense is super sick. That really, I don't know, that to me brings life into things. You know what I mean? You cannot live your life working for someone else or working to just make the money. The money is nice, of course. Like everybody's got to make a little money. You know what I mean? And it helps. But at the end of the day, like if you're thinking like, oh, once I make this money, I'm gonna be happy, or once I get this job, or once I like, that's not where it comes from. You know what I mean? It comes from helping out your fellow man and meeting people and building something that you enjoy.
Yeah, I always felt like at the end of the day, if we build this awesome company, this brand that people love to be around, there's always some excitement, and we can continue. Like we're basically just creating a fire, right?
Yeah.
And as long as we can keep that flame lit and we don't let it just like extinguish itself, then it's always going to be like an amazing place. Unfortunately, I've been in a lot of tackle shops. You've been in a lot of tackle shops, and I really just. Nobody's better than one another, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
I don't care if you own the shop. I don't care. Like, I could tell you this, Marshall, so many people come to the shop that are infinitely better at fishing than me. And I'll never talk to them like I'm better than them. And it just saddens me because that's why I love Coyote Bait and Tackle so much. And I reference them so much, is because they have always kept true to their roots, their mom and pop shop that just, quick plug to Coyote. One of the most amazing swim bait selections I've ever seen. Right. Like their customer service, everything. Those guys are the ones that helped push to make my shop awesome, because if I could pick any shop that I've ever been to in the entire United States, including overseas, Coyote Bait and Tackle is probably my favorite shop.
Well, I heard you mention the other day that it's kind of like or I forgot who mentioned this. Maybe it was you, maybe it was somebody else, but somebody was talking about how you walk into like an academy or Bass Pro and like you don't want to talk to the people there because nobody really cares.
That was a customer.
And you get it, right? But you walk into like a little skate shop, you know what I mean? Yes. That's like the vibe we go for. You know what I mean? You want to walk in the skate shop. And the cool thing about, I always make this comparison, skating, BMX, and fishing go like bread and butter, dude. They are like such similar sports because it's a you against you sport. It's like you create and you do what you want to do, and everyone can have success doing their own thing. You know what I mean? Like just because one person, or just because 100 people say, oh, you got to throw a spinnerbait on a cloudy day like this, doesn't mean you can't go out and have success throwing a spinnerbait on a sunny day. You know what I mean? It's like literally the water is your canvas and the rod is your paintbrush. And you go out there and you can put the puzzle together however you want. And it's cool to go in and talk to people in the shop and discuss ideas like that. You know what I mean? Like you walk into a skate shop and you're talking about a certain spot down the street, like, oh, dude, look at this rail. And somebody might approach that rail completely differently than you would. You know, like, oh, I didn't even think about, you know what I mean? The same thing with fishing, you know what I mean? You can think about like, oh, I wouldn't even think about rigging something like that. Or I told Justin, who came in the shop the other day, I was telling him about putting nail weights in your soft baits, and it was just like, to him, I saw something click in his head. He was like, oh, and I have those moments too when I get to go in there and I get to talk and chat, and somebody will say something that's like, it's a throwaway comment. You know what I mean? They say it and they're like, da-da. I'm like, wait a second.
There's some
There's
substance there.
There's always like little substance because everyone has their own little way of
Yeah.
doing things, and just sharing that is super cool. It makes everyone better, and that's what builds this like fishing community. It's sick.
One thing that I love to, I don't keep secrets from anybody.
Right.
Like I'll tell you everything that I do, whatever. As long as someone didn't teach me it, then I'll expose anything I come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And it really put into perspective for me. This was like 3 weeks ago about stretching a Senko, about how you bring life out of a Senko. How do you make them last longer without
Right.
using an O-ring, all that stuff. And I've been doing this forever, which is just stretching the Senko. It makes it more lively, more limp, all that type of stuff. And then I had
Like literally pulling on it. Like,
yeah, you grab the.
I actually have not heard of this. So.
Oh, so you grab a Senko, and then when you're holding the Senko, you just kind of pull it and stretch it, and you see the salt come out of it.
Oh, okay.
And then so I was like, but I said the best analogy I can use is it's like a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to inflate a balloon, is it easier to inflate a balloon if I stretch it out first, or if I inflate it one time and then I inflate it again? It's all stretched. Does it explode?
Interesting.
Does it blow up bigger?
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
And I was explaining it to this customer, but then another customer was like, "Are you really going to tell people this?" And I said, "Yeah, like why not? Like I'll tell people, use mend it. It'll make your plastics last longer."
Right.
Because I just want you guys to
learn.
learn.
And, I mean, honestly, at the end of
know?
the day, you can tell people everything, and a lot of times they still won't get it. You know what I mean? Like they still won't go out and do exactly what you're doing. But it is like I said, that is little things that you pick up. Like I just learned something new there. I actually did not know that. Like I've never heard that in my life. So I hear little things like that, and it's like I said, you have those little clicking moments where it's like, oh, you know, in the shop, and I love that. I love that stuff. There are no secrets except for on my Patreon. Plug the Patreon right here.
Yeah.
If you want.
Subscribe to Patreon.
Those are the only secrets we have around here. But,
yeah, I don't have any secrets. I just tell the truths of everything.
No, it's.
You know, another one that someone was blown away with. I was like, yeah, if you ever use like a thin profiled worm, I was like, you don't have to buy an O-ring for it. Just go to the nearest store and ask for a straw. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, just buy the straw, cut it.
Cut the straw.
Yeah, cut the straw, use a straw. It's even better because they're clear.
Rubber band. You can wrap a rubber band a few times.
I like to use a straw quite a bit because it's cheap and, well, it's free.
Free.
Yeah. And you can have so many of them.
Right, yeah.
Just don't throw them in the water because littering's bad.
Try not to throw anything in the water. I know that is like, it kind of does suck that is like a thing where it just, plastics will end up in the water. But yeah, the least you can do is pick up your tag ends, pick up, your little clippings of line, pick up your O-rings, don't drop any plastics, I always save my plastics too. I'd be like, watch my show and mended a whole pack back together that I used that day.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Stuff like that, try and keep them together.
What was it, those Sakamata shads that are just so hard to get, right?
Yeah, we had somebody come in the store the other day and buy how many packs? Like,
I don't know. He asked, how many cases do you have?
Yeah, asked for cases. And we just got a shipment, and I just opened them on the live stream there, like that day of, and then people are coming and asking for them.
But we don't sell cases.
No,
we want to make sure, like, again, like, this is community.
Yeah.
My whole goal is, I don't ship stuff. People always like, oh, why don't you ship this? I had one guy get mad. He goes, well, why do I even follow your page if you don't ship anything? I said, you're following my page because you probably like the stuff I have, but the reality is that my shop is made... It will thrive because of the community. Right. Like where
it's for
my brick and mortar.
This is for Houston,
Yeah.
It's not for the guys that are ordering.
Without them, it changes everything. But like, so the guy that came in the other day asking, like, how many cases did you have? Mm-hmm. If I sold him all of them, then that means, granted, he lived here, right? That means that every single person that lives in Houston that wants to get them will never be able to get them.
Can't get them.
And that's not fair to, like, everybody watching.
Right. No.
But... the cool thing is, as you know, we've talked about it, our website does launch within about less than a week here.
We'll have that availability soon. Yeah. But we have to, make sure we keep something in stock for the people at home.
For the people of Houston.
Right. trying to keep that sense of community. It's not, like, again, it's not all about the profit. It's like, what can we do for people? How can we help people out? You know what I mean? And I really enjoy that. And
that joy sorry to interrupt you, but that joy of, like... which one was it? It was I had the Graceleys and I had the Phonies there, right? I just announced them on social media that, hey guys, it's going to be available on Friday.
Right.
And then I see people come in and they're just like so excited because they get to touch, feel, see all of it before they buy it. Where, as you know, like sometimes when there's a certain swim bait drop that I really want, your swim baits.
Yeah.
Like for the record, guys, I did not get hooked up by Marshall or Kyle at Throwback.
No, he caught the drop.
I caught the drop. I just sat there. John and I were actually in the middle of driving to go pick up the truck.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Are you sure you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got to go." And he goes, "Are you sure you want to go? We might miss the drop." I said, "No, we'll just pull over on the side of the freeway." So then we pulled over on the side of the freeway and we're just like, all right,
refreshing.
trying to get it. And then we got it. Like I got what I wanted. John got what he wanted. I was stoked.
Right.
And they weren't even for me.
Right.
You saw that. They're just like
they're chilling.
They were here. We're gonna give them away.
Yeah.
Right?
It's gonna be a sick little gift.
Yeah.
They're all signed. We got 3. We got a signed chickadee, a signed retro glide, and a signed flea shad, all in the pink lemonade color. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
This guy's a collector. He can get his hands on stuff, which is I've noticed.
But I'm not a flipper though.
No, you're not a flipper.
No.
You're definitely not. He's not a flipper, but he does get his hands on stuff.
But flippers, please stay away from my store.
Yeah, no flipper.
No flippers in the store.
We don't really do the flipper thing.
Yeah.
You know? It's like
we're both on Swimbait Universe.
Yeah. I'm gonna see, and it's like, dude, if you really think, I don't know, and certain baits you can make. Certain people can make like $400 on a bait flip, like with a Hinkle or something.
Now you're not gonna make.
But most of the time, it's like, dude, are you really trying to flip a bait for $25 like profit? Like, come on, like, you know what I mean? You could go, you could go help out your neighbor mow his lawn and get that money. You know what I mean? Like probably more. Like that's just ridiculous. I don't know. Like most of the baits that I see that are flipping, like I'm like, man, that bait could go to a loving home. Like that bait could go to someone like me or someone like Jared or someone that was going to fish the hell out of it. You know what I mean? Or use it as a backup for bait they really like just stuff like that. People that are actually going to use them.
I mean, and when everyone had, like to the point earlier, like people say you got to go out today and go throw a spinnerbait. You don't have to go throw a spinnerbait. Right? If you want to throw a swimbait, you don't have to throw the exact same one. You can throw something different.
No.
Like I have a different array of swimbaits than what Marshall likes to throw. And
right.
That's totally fine, but he does catch more than I do.
I'm only out more. Anthony's way better at fishing than me. So.
Marshall's way more humble than me. No,
it's all live scope.
No, but that's all live scope. Oh, let me tell you. Can we just take a quick tangent?
Go for it. No, this whole show is about tangents. That's what I want it to be.
I was so stoked when you said you were going to come stay down here for a week with us. You know, you're like family to us, right? Yeah. You are family to us. And I was like, oh, we're going to go fish every day. Well, we ain't fishing right now. We said when 11 o'clock comes and the hurricane passes us, we're going to go fish, but we're still in the hurricane right now.
Windy.
But I wanted to go out and fish with Marshall around the lake, and I wanted him to go try my kayak out. And I remember the first time you saw my bass boat, you're just like, what is all this stuff? It's like a space shuttle. I was like, it's like cool stuff. And then we go out on Ladybird and you're like, all this? You're killing the fish, Anthony. You're killing the fish.
You're beaming them.
And then my battery dies.
Right?
And then we catch fish after my battery dies on my electronics. But anyway, so we go out here and there's some brush piles and I wanted to get you out there. But Marshall's like, oh yeah, let me try the live scope out. Let me tell you, this guy is such a purist. Okay, he hops on my kayak. Immediately, the live scope just dies. It doesn't work. None of my electronics work.
We're like resetting it, unplugging the battery, doing everything. You know?
So Marsh, you got no access to any electronics to see what it's like. All right, and then so he goes out with my brother-in-law John. I call him Blue. He works at the shop too, right? Blue, purple, whatever color his hair is, right? So then he goes out with Blue yesterday before the hurricane came, right? And they go out, and Marshall calls me, sends me a text. I send him a text like, "Hey, Marsh, how's it going?" He goes, "Dude, your kayak almost killed me." And I go, "LOL, how's the fishing?" He goes, "No, it almost killed me."
No, literally.
So apparently, my battery died, or was dying on my remote, and then my motor guide trolling motor started going haywire and started spinning them in circles.
Dude,
throwing them left and right.
The motor, I mean, it almost knocked me in the water. It just started doing whatever it wanted to, like I guess the juice was out in the remote, so it was just like running me around on 10, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna crash Anthony's kayak, and he's gonna kill me. And like every time I get on something like that, like I get on the boat or I get on whatever, like it just doesn't.
First trip with you, electronics die.
It just doesn't work out. I don't know what
kayak
it
trip,
is.
Electronics don't work. Third trip with you, trolling motor dies. And it's a testament because you're a purist.
I guess so. Used to whenever I had my, if you guys have been following me for this long, You remember the 12-foot John boat days from way back, like high school. And even back then, I had a little 4-inch screen that was a down scan, and I had my trolling motor on the front. And that trolling motor and that down scan would give me so many problems. Like, I swear, the wires would just randomly combust and start melting. Like, I'd be out, and I'm like, well, the trolling motor isn't working, or the prop would blow out. I'm like, dude, it just never, ever, like, worked out for me well, like, having a boat. Like, I definitely caught some big fish off of it, but whenever I started fishing off the paddleboard, I was like, dude, nothing to go wrong. Like, if I can't paddle somewhere, I can't paddle there. It's all on me.
Okay, I gotta ask. Because you're on an inflatable paddleboard.
Yeah.
Never sprung a leak?
So they'll get like pinholes, right? Like, people ask me this all the time. This is probably a good time to run over this, but people always ask, like, does the paddleboard, like, does it ever pop on you? Have you ever hooked it or popped it? It's like a drop stitch PVC material, so it's a lot tougher than you'd actually think. Like, you pick it up and you're like, oh, this thing is super sturdy. It's not like an inflatable you get at Walmart, you know what I mean? It's not like an inner tube. And I've gotten pinholes in them. I've definitely hooked it, and it'll, like, I don't know, the way the stitching is, it, like, will poke it, and then it'll just, like, release a little tiny bit of air. So Jared has my old paddleboard, and he can tell you, it's got like 14 pinholes in it. They'll all let out water. If you pour soapy water on it, they all bubble up, but it won't run out of air for like 4 or 5 hours. Like, you know what I mean? You'll have to fish on it for a while to notice before it gets soft.
But what's incredible about these, like, paddleboards, is because I have 2 on my side yard, right?
Those are inflatable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they made it through the hurricane.
Yeah, they're still
I have them held on with one strap. What's incredible about them is when you inflate them, it only goes to like 7.5, 15 psi.
Yeah, so I do 12, 13. I like to do 13 on mine. That's
but it just
sturdy.
blows my mind, because if you think about what 12 psi is, you put 12 psi in something, you'd be like, it'd just fold on you. But these inflatables, the technology they have in, like, is it a go boat? Tim has one of those?
Yeah, Tim let me take his go boat out for a little spin on Town Lake one day. That was funny.
I tried to. Yeah. I actually asked.
It's actually cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I asked him to buy it.
That was the one vessel I got on where I was like, whoa, this is pretty sick. It's super stable. Like, you can walk around the edge of it. Like, it's just a circle, so it's like.
I mean, I would love to have one right now.
Right? That would be dope. But I don't think it would do good in this kind of weather.
Not this weather, but we got the kayaks.
That's the only thing. We do have the kayaks.
Doing okay?
Yeah, they're holding in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the inflatables are tough. Get you an inflatable. We're gonna.
You know
what?
Oh no! So since I live on a lake, right? I wanted to get, like, in Lady Bird, they have the big Swan paddleboard.
Yeah,
or
the
paddle
boat. Yeah.
I really wanted to get a Swan paddle. They have a dragon one too. I don't know why I'm talking.
You just
about
need
this.
an array, dude. You need an array.
Yeah,
back
like,
here.
why can't they have a?
I told John.
I
told John yesterday. I was like, man, you know how sick it would be if you just had a 12-footer John boat, just like little Johnny boat, just pull that up here on the shore with a deck on it, put a nice deck on it, a little 4-horse outboard, 4 or 6-horse, like that would be like those little John boats, 12 to 14 foot, they get it done, dude. Like. Jared's John boat is magical.
That's how it started.
The ship
was
box,
on 12-foot.
Dude, the ship box, that thing is insane. He's got so many double digits off that thing. It's got a magic power. And the build, I don't know if you've seen his old videos where he would. This is a while ago now, because Jared's had his boat for over a year, maybe 2. But he used to bilge He used to have a little bilge in the back, and he'd hit the bilge because it would just fill up with water throughout the day. He'd hit the bilge, and the bilge would, like, spurt, like, some of the water out off the side, but some of it would just splash back onto the battery. Like, it was just going everywhere. He's like, yeah, let's hit the bilge. And he always had these funny little stories of the ship box, like, starting it up. Starts up every time.
I actually, my first boat was a ship box like that. I had it was like a 12-foot sea nymph. We called it the sea nympho. Because it was...
I truly believe that there is something, like, very special about those smaller watercrafts, whether it's a John boat, whether it's a float tube, whether it's a paddleboard, kayak, like, whatever it is. Like, I mean, like, Jared can probably talk about this, but I mean, I don't think Jared's caught a double digit out of his new boat. And not to I love Jared. I love you, Jared. I'm not bashing you, but dude, like, he'll go and he won't catch a big fish, and then I'm like, hey, Jared, let's take the paddleboards out, and take the paddleboards out, boom, 9-pounder. Take the paddleboards out, boom, 9.8. Like, just stupid stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, let's just take the boards out for a fun day. There is something, like, truly special about getting on some sort of small watercraft like that, and that's I don't know.
Maybe that's why I haven't caught like a 9 since I've moved here.
I'm not.
I got like 7s, I got 8s. I don't got anything bigger than
I'm
that
not
since I moved
kidding.
here.
I'm not kidding. Like, I truly believe that is a big factor in it. Like, I think you just have so much more of an advantage on a vessel with nothing on it and no electronics, no nothing. That's really small and compact. That's so stealthy. Like, I was talking to Jeffrey. I had a long call about Jeffrey with this, where it's like we were talking about our strategies to catch the world record, like what we were going to do. And his main strategy was like, hey, I'm going to fish the gnarliest, nastiest days, just like this. He was like, yeah, if it's blowing like this on Biwa, I'm going to be out there, raining, shine, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, like, he's going to be out there, he's going to be trolling. He's like, I think it's going to eat on one of these days. And I was like, well, I kind of take the opposite approach, where I'm like, I want to fish the days that are a little easier to fish, but I have a better advantage because I'm just, like, they just don't know I'm there. You know what I mean? They just don't know you're there. Like, those bigger fish are smart. They know their surroundings. I think they know for sure what the sonar beam is.
It's loud.
I think they get hit with the sonar beam, and they're immediately like, whoa, that's like
I hear that.
especially, maybe not out here because they don't get it very often, but like certain lakes where...
Oh, they know when I'm coming because they hear all the electronics
right,
coming
everything beaming. I think it makes a big, big difference, dude. And like, I don't know, people will tell me no, and I'm like, well, like, let's pit it to the test. Like, how many big fish do you have? You know what I mean? Like, and maybe some people would also chalk it up to me just fishing a lot. And I kind of say, like, I do fish a lot, but also I can't cover as much water as everybody else. Like, in a bass boat, you can beat bank, and you can't beat bank on a paddleboard, you know?
I'll say, like, I love my bass boat, but I only use my bass boat to take, like, my kids out.
The bass boat's sick.
It
is sick. Or 3 people having on it. Like, it's fun. I
mean,
I love going
I
on
use the bass boat as, like, this is a time that we're all going to go out and have a good time and just chill. I don't have to worry about tipping over. I don't have to worry about packing super organized. Like, we go out on the boat. But me personally, I'd rather be on my kayak. I think the kayak, like, I like to be as close to the water as possible. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I kind of, like, am one with the lake.
Dude,
sort of.
Tell me about it.
But then I turn my electronics on.
You got the little live scope losers down under, calls it the stripper pole. He's got another name for it. I won't say it on here because that's probably going to get me demonetized. But the little pole on the side where you can point it around. I was pointing it around at the brush pile. I had to, yesterday when we went out, I had to spot lock into the wind.
Yeah, keep in mind his trolling motor did not work, but the spot lock,
we got stuff to work now. Like we went replace the batteries, and I was like, okay, let's go back out for a little bit. I want to get the hang of this. So, like, I like to at least know. You know what I mean? I like to at least have. I don't want to be the complete like, nah, like never try it, like whatever. But I gotta know. So I go out there and I'm remoting around and I spot lock into the wind, and then John's telling me where the brush pile is. He's like, brush pile is back here by the rocks. And I was like, okay. So I turn around and I'm like looking behind me at the screen, and I'm scoping with the pole, and I'm like looking. I'm like, oh, there's fish there. And I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's my warrior man. I'm like seeing all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's funny.
It's like the first time.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely first time being able to point it at things. So I've caught fish on live scope before. I caught a nice fish on Jay's boat. On a glide bait one time, where it was like, he was like, yeah, look at this tree on the scope. And I was like, oh, like over here? And I threw at it, and I worked it over the top of the tree. I could see my bait working over the top of the tree, and I was like, whoa. And then the blob just comes up and like meshes with it. And it just, like, you can see in the video, that's an old video, but you can see me like hesitate on the hook set, because I was like, what the hell? I'm like watching it, and you see it happen, and then the bite happens before it happens on the screen, like a fraction of a second. So I'm like, whoa, it scares me. You know what I mean? And I've done that, but I've never actually been able to point it at a fish and like throw it at a fish. So that was.
But you never scoped for crappie or anything.
No, the crappie are easy, right? They just.
Yeah, so scoping crappie is just like you got your bait, and you just drag it by the fish, and then all of a sudden you just see this big blob move with it. You didn't even feel the bite. You just see this bigger blob move with it, and you just set the hook, and you got a crappie.
Right.
We'll go live scope some crappie here, because like I told you, we'll do like a crappie fish fry. And they're big here.
Yeah,
like
undeniably, it is fun. I will say, like looking at it especially for the first few times, I'm like, whoa, this is entertaining. Like watching the fish swim around. I even was like, I asked John, I was like, are there fish on this dock? And then I thought for a second, I was like, oh well, I could just look. Yeah. I could just like stare under the dock, and I like look under the dock, and I'm seeing all the fish swim around. That's like insane technology.
It worked out.
Absolutely insane.
Worked out perfect.
But I think I could go out there and really grind with it, and probably catch a big fish with it. But I think it takes away from, like, what I'm good at. You know what I mean? Like, me personally, like, and like I said, everybody has their own thing. But I think it takes away from what I am good at, and that's like, yeah, it's getting a little squirrely out here.
It is. I hear like sounds.
I know the wind is like cutting now. Well, I mean, it was blowing this way earlier because we were on the front side of the
Yes.
storm, and now it's blowing this way. Like, yeah, I don't know. The water's still coming up. We got some runoff. I like it.
I think we have rain still through tomorrow, so I think the
Yeah.
lake's going to come up another foot.
Kayaks are going to be like holding on the anchor, like just
Yes.
poking up one side. It's going to be good.
John's kayak's going to go under. My kayak, I think, will be okay.
Yeah, that thing is, those things are heavy, dude. Those things are heavy.
I mean,
Heavy and buoyant.
I would like us to get out and go
Buoyant.
fish in the next, I don't know, probably.
Today. Or
We might have to get out
tomorrow.
around like 6 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we could really hammer today.
You think so?
There were so many cormorants out here earlier. Then they were diving down. I saw one eat like a 1 pound bass.
Interesting.
And I was like, well,
I've never been a big like post frontal guy.
I'm not.
I'm always like, dang, dude. But like, yeah, definitely yesterday I felt the vibe. I think if I would have gotten to fish longer yesterday, if the trolling motor didn't try and kill me, I definitely would have done good. I think, because then I did catch one decent fish off that brush pile. Like not a huge fish, but a 2.5 pounder.
Well, there was a guy. He asked, like, is it worth going out? Yada yada yada.
Today?
Well, I don't like going out post frontal conditions the following day.
Right.
I don't mind going out
Yeah.
post frontal conditions the
day
same
of.
day.
That makes sense.
That kid went out and
Yeah.
caught this.
Yeah,
This
there's
kid,
one.
That kid pours plastics for me, and it's like, okay, that's a solid like 3 maybe.
That was today or yesterday?
That was yesterday,
Okay,
right
yeah,
after
right,
that
okay,
one storm.
right.
And I already saw a few guys went out today and actually caught them.
Right.
One of them caught a really good one out here today.
Well, it also depends on what kind of storm it is. Because sometimes you have like one like singular small storm that'll come through, and it's like before that storm it's good. Storm comes through at 12 o'clock, and then just nothing, right?
Yeah.
But if you have like spotty storms throughout the day, where you have like the storm yesterday came through, and then it ended, and then it was calm,
Yep.
right? But we have this storm today, so it was like this one overrid the first one. You know what I'm saying? Like it comes in like if it's a smaller storm and then there's a bigger storm following it, the bigger storm is going to have a greater effect on the fish, I think. I don't know. Something about that prefrontal, the pressure going crazy. Like I've kind of followed the barometric pressure a little bit. I try not to.
I don't like to look at it.
Yeah,
it discourages me to want to go out.
Right. The only thing that I'm like big on is moon phase. Like I'm definitely big on moon phase. But even then, like if I know it's probably not a good moon phase, I don't look at it because I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna think about it.
I only care about moon phase to like right before a full moon and then right after a full moon.
Yeah.
New moons are great.
New moons are great.
But yeah, like 1 day, 2 days after a full moon, I pretty much don't care to fish.
Really? So I like 3 days after or before the full moon for sure. But like on the full moon,
Nighttime
garbage.
only.
Really? No, I've
Yeah.
had worse luck at night, I swear.
I love wake baits on full moons.
I feel like the full moon is just like a dink fest, dude. I feel like I always go out and I'm catching a bunch of fish. But
Well,
it's always
you're like trophy hunter. Like you like to catch fish and you like
Well, yeah.
trophies. Me, I'm just like, I'm just glad to get away from the family for a little bit.
Yeah, fair.
I love my family. If my kids watch this, Kevin, I love you. You're standing over there. Kari, thank you for making cookies.
We talked about it though. It's not. Or did we talk about this? I don't know if this was me that talked about this, but getting out and fishing. Or no, it was Noah, the guy I went fishing with on the quad. We were talking about getting away and fishing, like getting away from the family, and how it's not about the family. It's just like for your own like mental thing.
It's your relax, your reset.
It's
your
a
zen
reset.
period.
Like it's not. You know what I mean? It's not like. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I have the opposite way, because I fish alone like all the time, and I'm always alone in the van. So it's kind of nice whenever I get to like, come and stay over here and meet with people and chat. And I'm like, oh, nice. This is my fun time. You know what I mean? This is like my relaxation. So like the fishing part is my job, where I have to be like on top of my health and stuff to be able to want to go out.
Yeah.
I have to abuse lots of caffeine. Shout out Yerbe.
Which I found out that I've been drinking my Red Bulls, and they only have 80 milligrams in this. And then we're going to bust out this Yerbe.
This was only 120. That was not too bad.
This is 120, so
Yeah.
it's 1.5 times.
But
even if you get a 12-ounce Red Bull, it still has less than 120.
Well, I know that Alani New that's in there. I love those Alani News. Those are so good, and they're
Yeah.
200, and they're the same size as this can.
You know what I love is
What?
the beef ribs we're making right now.
Oh,
That
I'm very excited.
I've been
for
hurting
beef
to
ribs.
like check on them.
Really? Do you
So
want to check on them?
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
check on them.
I'm
while
gonna
you
keep
keep
I'm gonna
talking.
keep everybody busy. Yeah. So I am big on caffeine, right? I love caffeine. Okay, and Brian kind of put a bug in my head where I can operate on a higher level. Oh, there's the rain. I can operate on a higher level with enough caffeine, right? And if it's gonna make me fish better, I want it. You know what I mean? As long as it's not no Coke, no cocaine, but caffeine is fine, right? I feel like caffeine isn't gonna kill me, at least not yet. Caffeine's great, dude.
I actually quit Red Bull for the longest time, and then when the shop opened up, I started drinking it again. Let
me see that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big coffee fan. Like, I'll drink coffee.
I couldn't believe that Red Bull only had 80 milligrams. When you told me that, I was like, dude, I always thought, like, I just knew that Red Bulls were like, that like hyped you the fuck up. You know what I mean? I was like, that's what I thought. But I mean, it's like the other stuff in there, right? The B12 or whatever.
It's not even the B12. It's like the ginseng or whatever. It's probably the niacinamide and the pyroxidine.
Something scary. I like. And does it have calories or sugar? Or like, what is it?
No, well, this one's sugar free.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I like the Yerba's because they're 0 calories, 0 sugar. So I don't feel bad about drinking them at all. And it's also like everything that's in there is really good and organic. It is caffeine, and it'll probably blow your heart up if you drink too much. But I know people that operate on a ridiculous amount of caffeine. They're fine. Brian,
but you're also like getting some of your caffeine from like the tea and all that type of stuff.
True. Yeah. It's not like I said. Like there's a difference between energy drink caffeine and coffee and like coffee or tea caffeine.
Yeah.
You know, not every caffeine is created equal.
Well, it could be. I mean, yerba is definitely a healthier choice.
Yeah.
It even says right here.
I would hope so.
It
says healthy. It says healthy, so it has to be.
What does mango? Here, let me do this as a commercial. This is a yerba plant-based energy mango passion fruit. Let me read the label.
This is the little slim, skinny snatch can that I like.
And it says, I'm going to be a yerba marketer right now.
This is going to be a good plug.
Energized by yerba mate and white tea. And it says, what does mango passion fruit energy feel like? It's like the thrill of finding a blessing in disguise. But you found it on a tropical beach, and a blessing is fresh mango that's disguised as an even fresher passion fruit. And then it says, enjoy with an emoji.
It is, dude. It's like a blessing in disguise.
But it's gluten-free, keto-friendly, non-GMO. It has some sort of plant thing and a U.
There you go.
It's equivalent to 1.5 cups of coffee. So
there you go.
If Marshall gives me one later, I'll tell you guys how it is. But I'm a fan of anything that's healthy.
We'll hit the Yerba plug. Homeless 15, all caps for 15% off. The proceeds go to Archie's college fund. Archie's going to be a mechanical engineer, or actually maybe Archie's going to be a tech bro. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
He might.
He hasn't decided.
I know he's really good at eating worms and lettuce. He gets all excited over the G cracks.
He has a degree in eating lettuce and worms.
I gotta say that was a cool one. But
the
yerba's awesome. I will say that having Archie stay here is pretty cool because it's offered so much entertainment to my kids.
The kids are stoked. I have a big, fat hornworm ready to be eaten. I hope it's juice. Sometimes he eats the hornworms and they don't explode, but sometimes he bites them and they blow up. Like they just juice everywhere. It's
put
awesome.
that in the cage.
On the ground. But it's awesome. It is really, truly awesome. I love being like I call up Brian all the time because Brian has a bearded dragon too, and I'll call him up like, hey dude, you want to?
Which Brian?
9-pound hammer.
Oh yeah.
So
when you drove to Minnesota with.
Yeah. So I'll call Brian and I'm like, what's up, dude? And he's like, nothing, man. You want to come over and watch my bearded dragon eat lettuce? I'm like, hell yeah. And I drive over, and it's just like we'll sit there on the floor, just watch him eat, and I'm like, dude, that's such a simple pleasure in life for me. Like watching like animals and reptiles, like just do their thing. Well, you know?
Yeah,
I love that.
The other day, there's a lot of houses right here, and we all back up to the water. And so I saw one of my neighbors parked his boat in his backyard.
Right.
So Marsh has Archie with him on his shoulder, and then I was like, hey, let's go over to the neighbor's house real quick. You can meet some random people. Maybe we can grab some food over there, because they invited us over to eat.
Right.
Whatever. So we walk over there, and then all of a sudden all the daughters walk up, and they're just like, oh my God, look, there's a lizard on his shoulder.
Everyone is very infatuated with Archie.
It brought so much joy to everyone.
Right.
And then they all came over here after.
Yeah.
And then we lit fireworks.
We did.
Which, like you said, was the most...
The most American thing I've ever seen in my life. We had a lot of fireworks for 4th of July. There'll be a little clip in Wednesday's video. You've probably already seen it. If you're listening to this, you've probably already seen the Wednesday video. There was a clip at the end there. We did some fireworks. There was 4 pallets out here, and yeah, that was another nice little sense of community here in the town lake. area.
Yeah.
Everyone getting together to watch fireworks. It was just American.
Yeah,
I loved it.
There's a lot of. It's just very cool. There's a lot of patriotism.
Yeah,
here.
maybe we want to drive a truck.
Yeah.
Maybe we want to pack a lip.
Yeah, after that, I felt like we had to go hang an American flag in the back of my dually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was the right thing to do.
Dude, we need an American flag on one side, and then the homeless pirates logo on the other side. We'll have the pirate flag.
We should get those on the kayaks.
Oh yeah, no, I'm planning on it. Don't worry.
We got to do that.
Don't worry. I've only posted it one place. You guys haven't seen the pirate logo yet, but I'm very excited. I got some special stuff planned. Some new merch. Some new merch, even newer than the new stuff. So I'm excited. It's
new merch I don't even know about.
Yeah. Well, I told you about it, but it's
okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
And we'll carry it at our store.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some merch in the Tackle Shack store. That would be super sick.
Only merch I want to carry. My own merch and your merch.
That'd be hard. I'd love that. Man, that was good. I don't know how long this ran, but I'm pretty content.
I have no idea either. But let's talk about the fishing real quick because the lake is up 4 feet right now.
Right.
I want to know from the viewers if you want to put it in the comments, all that type of stuff. We just had a hurricane. The lake is up 4 feet right now. The water's actually not that dirty. It's just slightly. It looks stained.
It's dirty. Dirty.
This section's dirty. Well, because we walked through the flooded area.
True.
On the south end, it wasn't that
True.
bad. So let's just say it's stained. We just had a hurricane. The water came up 4 feet in a span of 12 hours. What would you throw today? I want to know because the next hurricane that comes in,
post-hurricane,
because he's going to come back down here for the next hurricane.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Tackle Shack stocked and ready with whatever you guys think we should throw.
Yes, and when we film the next episode during the hurricane, we'll throw everything that we see in these comments here that day.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna put my bets right now. I would put money on a spinnerbait. That's just like I put money on that.
All right, so you're going with spinnerbait.
Spinnerbait.
For me,
it's hard for me to say not a worm, but I think spinnerbait because of the wind.
I do think there's going to be like some sort of worm bite. I think that maybe like a brighter colored jerkbait might work on some of those brush piles. So you'll probably see me with a jerkbait on, a worm on.
The Megabat, what is the Megabat? What is the spinnerbait that I have?
SV3.
SV3. I like that one. That one's a good spinnerbait.
It is one of the best ones. I can grab it for you.
It's right here, right? I have one.
Yeah, I knocked it over
the
earlier.
SV3, and then I also like to throw the War Eagle spinnerbait. I've actually caught some very big fish on the War Eagle spinnerbait a long time ago. I haven't thrown it very often, but yeah, you can actually get these at the Tackle Shack. SV3. I like this one. I caught a bunch of snakeheads on it in Florida. So if you saw the snakehead videos.
Where are we going next week?
We are going to Florida.
We're not done
week.
talking.
No, we're not done talking because we gotta go to Florida. Tell you what, if we're not done talking, I gotta pee real quick.
Okay. While he pees, we'll talk about this. So, SV3.
Maybe I should leave. I should leave the mic so you can't hear me pee.
Yeah, I have to pee too. Can we just take a break? I'm gonna pee too, so we're gonna take a break. We'll edit this out. Yeah, start all over again.
No, we're good.
My glasses.
We're good. We're good.
I've been squinting this whole time.
It's okay. No, this isn't gonna be. I don't think people are gonna actually like watch this. Like if people are watching us talk, like looking at the screen, I'd be surprised. I think this is gonna be more like people put this on while they eat dinner or while they do something like clean the house or whatever.
Oh yeah. I could just listen. My wife loves that. Just listening to me while she cleans the house.
Okay.
It's her favorite thing to do.
Pee break is over.
And we're back.
That was a yerb induced piss for sure.
Yeah.
That one had some power behind it, dude. It felt good though. I pee good with the yerb in me.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm glad you're
proud of you.
What were we talking about? We were talking about Florida, dude. So we mentioned this Megabass spinnerbait, and I was like, hey, I caught a bunch of snakeheads on this thing, and it kind of just reminded me that we're going to ICAST next week, which I kind of forgot about, but now that I remember, I'm like, whoa. So
it's kind of a big deal. It is kind of a big deal. I read an article that said this ICAST is the Super Bowl of bass fishing.
Well, I think
events
between the Bassmaster Classic and ICAST, those are the two biggest events. And I went to the Classic this year for the first time ever, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot of people because I'm used to going to like these niche fishing events where there's like 100 people there and they all know each other. You know what I mean? Oh, what's up, Marshall? But I go to this thing and there's like thousands of people running around this convention center, and I'm like, whoa. This is a big deal, and I'm excited to see ICAST because this is also a huge deal.
This is your first time ICAST?
Yeah, so G-Crack got me in. I'm super stoked. I'll be at the G-Crack booth if anyone else is going to be there. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I'm really excited too. I mean, I've never been in this industry like really,
Right.
and now I have to go there. So I found out that it was like all these vendors would
Right.
call me and they're like, "Hey, can we get a meeting with you?" And it's like back to back meetings all day long.
Yeah.
But I just want to go look around at cool stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna definitely go see you
Yeah.
and Kazuki when I'm there.
For sure.
There's I'm gonna go say what's up to some other tackle shops that I've become friends with. There's a lot of cool tackle shops out there. A lot of good people out there.
I could be wrong. This is G-Crack's first ICAST, or maybe second. I could be wrong. I think it's the first one though. I don't know.
It's interesting too because there's not a lot. There's some JDM brands there. I think like Ryugi Kaisa might be there. I know Mega Bass is not going to be there.
Really?
Yeah, Mega Bass won't be
That's
there.
interesting.
Like local companies that are big, like Sixth Sense, like they're right up the road. Sixth Sense is like 45 minutes from here. Right? Sixth Sense won't be there, but a lot of the other guys will be out there. I'm excited to see a bunch of new rod technology that's come out. There's some really sick reels, like the baits.
Right.
The baits is a good one.
There's also going to be a lot of knockoffs.
Yes.
Which I am going
like, hey, check out this Berkeley Nessie.
I am going to point out at the show. I've already decided that I want to walk around and look and see what looks familiar, because that is kind of a thing that has been plaguing the fishing. I mean, okay, it's always plagued the fishing industry. It's the more blatant stuff that really gets on my nerves. You know what I mean? Like the Nessie and I guess pretty much every Berkeley product ever known.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Like not to just hard bash anyone who fishes Berkeley, but like.
I mean, I did have someone that when I posted on our Instagram the video on Grow Designs, their Flag 170.
Right.
I posted up there, and someone's like, "Wow, cool! It's a Nessie."
Yeah. No.
And I was like, "No, the thing is, Nessie copied Grow Design, and Grow Design is like a very tunable bait.
Right.
The Nessie is like it looks. It's like same, but different.
You know what? You know what's a good thing to talk about? So I actually heard this point, and I have a good counter argument for it. This is why I wanted to put it out there. So somebody was commenting about the Nessie and the Grow Design Works kind of little controversy, and they said, "Well, I don't understand why the Nessie gets hate, but baits like the Osakana Slide or the Megabass IU Twitcher, I don't understand why these aren't getting hate too." So my thing about this is, right, Grow Design Works started a category of baits, soft glide, brand new category, right? For the most part, brand new to the market category. Baits like the Osakana Slide and the IU Twitcher and whatever's new coming out. There's a couple new ones that are coming out.
Yep.
Jackal has one coming out.
Jackal
I'm
does
not
have one
totally
coming
sure.
out.
I think that I have fished the Osakana Slide and I've fished the Flag now. Two completely different baits.
They are.
You pick them up and they are not even the same.
They swim way different.
They swim way different.
They're not even trying to beat
and they're
each
both
other.
good. Yeah, no, they're not even. It's just another bait in the category. The Nessie is one where you look at it side by side with the Grow and you're like, oh, this is the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, there are baits in a category that will have similar features, of course, because it's in the same category. But just because a bait is in the same category doesn't mean it's a direct copy.
Nope.
You know what I mean? That's like saying the bellows stick is
the Twitcher and the GWD 170.
Right. That's like saying the
totally different.
That's like
baits.
saying the bull
like
flat.
how they swim.
It's like saying the bull flat and the bellows gill are copies.
No,
I'm like, dude, they're
totally
completely different baits. They are a similar category. They're in that big flat gill bait category, but they're not the same. But you can look at certain baits like Thunderhawk made a rip-off bellows gill, and a couple people have been making rip-off bellows gills now. Yeah. And you're like, this is a rip-off. This is zero attempt to make anything different. So that's where my opinion stands on that. I think that Osakana makes a really good one, or Raid makes a really good one.
They do.
I think that Grow Design Works has the OG, but I think there's also room for improvement in this category. You know what I mean? There's always new stuff to be done with it.
Yeah, by all means, I'm not saying manufacturers don't. I'm not saying don't make anything that goes there. What I'm saying is like, I'd love to see how much more it evolves. Don't copy each other.
Exactly. Just build on it. You know what I mean? See it and be inspired by it and make something new. That's kind of where me and Kyle are at right now with Throwback, where we're like, we have a good section of baits now, and everything I feel like that we've come out with is, in categories that already exist, but they do something a little bit different than most baits. But now we're kind of like, hey, how can we start really digging in and creating something brand new that we haven't seen before, which I'm pretty excited about. We have some stuff in works. If you guys were there at the Throwback tournament little party thing that we did before the tournament, You probably saw a sneak peek of what we are working on. May or may not be a soft bait lineup, and we have some very, very cool things in store, which I am very excited about. This will be stuff that is way easier to pump out, so we can get.
I know nothing.
So he knows nothing, but
I know nothing.
But these are going to be baits that I would be very excited to see in the tackle shack, which I can almost guarantee that they will be, because these will be soft baits are just easier to pour and make than hard baits. That's just how that goes.
I mean,
so
speaking of the hard baits, like I always like look at, I carry a lot of different swim baits. Mm-hmm. You use a lot of different swim baits, and the amount of work that goes into just getting one bait in your hand. Mm-hmm. Because shout out to Kyle at Throwback on this one. So I have 3 retros.
Yeah.
All 3 of them swim exactly the same.
Right.
Like, how much work does it take to take these resin molds or a wood? It don't matter. You put the hooks on, whatever it is, and get them all to swim exactly the same. It is.
Let's go back to the garage days when they didn't all swim the same. I miss that.
I could throw a bait out here and I'll hit a rock right on shore, and then all of a sudden I try to swim like, well, that's never going to swim ever again the same way, because I'm not good at tuning it like you guys are.
Yeah, I have mastered the art now because I've been in the shop enough, and it's like taking a good understanding of how the bait actually swims, like what makes it swim that makes you good at tuning it. And Kyle, you know that chickadee tune that I did for you the other night?
Yeah.
Kyle could do that.
I got a free tune
Kyle could do
on
that.
my chickadee by this guy.
Kyle could do that with his eyes closed. He could just beep, beep, boom, ready to go.
He grabbed my chickadee and he goes, "Oh no, this needs some work. This is not good. This probably doesn't do what it's supposed to do."
That chickadee was a wreck, dude. And then John threw it out there. I was like, let me see how my tuning was, like, because I haven't tuned one in a while. And he threw it out there, and it immediately started. So I was like,
well, John, you weren't outside for this one, but John starts John's throwing. He comes outside, and I think he either hit something or like, they're not gonna every cast is a good impact on the water, right? Yeah. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, it's a little bit out of tune right now. Let me try to fix it." I said, "John, don't touch anything." And he goes, "Well," I'm like, "Marshall's here."
No, you gotta learn.
Marshall's staying with us. Marshall's tuning. Just don't touch his job.
You gotta mess up a couple times to learn, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the chickadee was an awesome bait. I mean, so originally I'd never wanted to use that chickadee because they only came out with 8 pink lemonade chickadees, right? Yeah, 1 for you, 7 for my store.
Very limited.
And so what I loved is that they came in the plastic bags. Yeah. But then Kyle sent me one, and it was like a personal one to me. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to save this. This is like iconic of my first day that I opened the store. Yeah. Right? And so I saved it. I brought it home. And then John and Brian and I, we go out to they want to go through wake baits. I don't really like walking on shore because the snakes try to eat me at night. And so I was like, let's go out. We go out there, and all of a sudden, John's throwing his bait over there. I'm sitting here walking, throwing some paralleling this cove I'm in. And all of a sudden, I hear it blow up. And then John's like, "I got one." He reels it in, 3rd cast, right? And I was like, "Oh, let me see." He swings it onto the grass, and he swings. I'm like, "Why are you throwing my chickadee?" That's my first response. Like, "Why are you throwing my chickadee?" I have no intentions of ever using that chickadee. That was for me to collect and just look at all the time. I was so.
You gotta throw them. You gotta throw them though. If you have a pink lemonade bait and you're not throwing it, I'll buy it off you. Okay, and I'm gonna get it into somebody's hands who's gonna throw it. Yeah. I want you to beat the shit out of it. I want that thing to be all raggedy and messed up. I got that purple one in there that is mauled. And that's how they should look.
I would like a purple, like thread fin, retro. I don't know if Kyle would ever paint me one.
Probably would if he asked nicely.
Yeah.
If he asked nice enough.
But there's so many different ones. I know, like, what my favorite little glide to use is. Oh, yeah. I love the finesse glide, the Gracely, the little shats. I love those things. Right. And here's a cool one. I don't know if you heard me talking about it. I think I told you, but the other day, other Kyle, not Throwback Kyle,
Mr.
Gracely Kyle.
Gracely-san?
Yeah, Gracely-san. Kyle posted up something on the story the other day where his daughter Scarlett actually just took some crayons or some markers and just started coloring up this bait, and it was her collection. And I was like, well, shoot, I have a little girl that's like the same age as Scarlett. I was like, man, maybe Scarlett will make one for me.
Right.
And then so I messaged Kyle. I was like, hey, Kyle, well, it's really picking up right now.
Solid gust.
And I go, dude, Kyle, I'd really like if Scarlett would make one for my daughter. Like, she could just make like a one-of-one, customized one, because I just got Kari her own like dope little kids rod.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
like Kevin got his own. Daiwa hooked him up. Dude, my son has a little Daiwa. He's got his own like custom 4.5 foot. Who
is
makes
it a bait caster or is it a spinning?
No, it's a spinning.
Is it the one that's sitting in there?
Yeah.
Dude, I was wondering. I was like, dude, that's sick. I like the length on that one.
Maybe someone's coming out with his own product line right now,
really?
right? That's something that I really want to do, and so I'm working on trying to get those made.
Very cool.
But Daiwa hooked him up with the Kage reel, which is like a $400 reel,
Woo!
and Daiwa was like, "Yeah, you know your son," so they gave me a really good price on it. So I got my son this Kage 1000 that goes perfect with his little 4.5 foot rod.
Very cool.
And but because my daughter has the same one, just different color, I was like, dude, if I got Kyle Gracely's Shat made by Scarlett. Because my daughter, if you looked at hers, it's like got pink and purple wrap. Yeah. It's got pink braid on it. It's got a pink shaky head on it right now.
It would be
a
matching.
Morning Dawn. Yeah, now she can have like this like cool kid-made pink little her first swim bait.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna catch them before Kevin does. Because Kevin can catch them on paddle tails, but he can't catch them on glides. So
well, that Shat is a pretty easy one to work, right?
It's so easy.
Pretty simple.
It's just versatile.
Versatile,
and I beat the crap out of it.
That's good. That's what you need for especially a beginner bait like that.
Yeah. Well, you can't say beginner bait.
What?
It's not a beginner bait.
Well, okay. For a bait that a beginner can use, well as a more advanced fish.
I think it's
I meant for specifically.
It's a very versatile swim bait glide to use. Comparing to a retro, there's not many times that I want someone to buy a retro as their first swim bait. Mm-hmm. If they do, they're going to break their arm.
100%.
But that guy Winston,
100%.
his very first swim bait was like a draw, like a 6 cent draw.
Yeah.
And then he like quickly caught one on that, and he said, "I want to try something bigger," and he jumps immediately into the retro.
Yeah.
And then he calls me later that day. He's like, "Hey, guess what, Ian?" I go, "What?" He's like, "I just got a 7." I was like, "What the heck?"
Nice.
And then he goes, "Dude, this throwback stuff's cool." Then he starts getting all these he gets home the drops. Came in, he bought a Bad Bunny from us, and he's like, "Dude, look, it just inhales them out here." I'm like, "Telling you, Throwback makes some mean stuff, dude."
Yeah, I mean, well, they make mean stuff because I get to proof everything before it comes out.
It's solid.
You could talk to Kyle about this, and I've probably talked about this on other podcasts, but we went through, I want to say like 7 prototypes that I fished, only 7 that I fished that Kyle was like, I think these are fishable, that he sent to me, that I got them and I fished them and I went, hey Kyle, this is a piece of shit. Every single time. Like it had to be, I told him from the beginning, and not out of like I'm being mean, but I told him from the very beginning, I was like, dude, if you're making a glide, it has to be perfect. Like I'm not going to let you release anything that I am just kind of like, okay, it's good. No, I wanted it to be something that I love, dude. And it, like I said, it is a bait that not a lot of people, I don't think they totally vibe with it because it's not choppy. But dude, if you understand the slow retrieve wide glide bite, like, oh my god, it glides as wide, if not wider than the mother. Like it just has such a pull to it. It travels. It's got the joint like barely even moves, so that's what causes it to like really send itself out there.
It's very smooth and it doesn't roll. It is wide.
It does roll, but if you go fast.
If you go fast. It's not for fast, though. But I mean, we have gone through this multiple times to make sure that I understood how to throw, because I was throwing it wrong before.
We designed the bait for big fish. Like it is a big fish bait, and that's not to shit on any of the little choppy glides, because the choppy glides are so much fun. The Metro that's going to come out later this month is ridiculously choppy, and it is so much fun. And it'll catch 100 fish in a day because it just shooting around.
But this ties back to that conversation we had about like you don't have to throw this, and this. It's like, how do you like to catch fish?
You throw whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean? I just like to design and help design the lures that I like to throw. You know what I mean? That I enjoy throwing, that I think are going to catch me the biggest fish. Because at the end of the day, I want to have fun, of course, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to catch the biggest fish in the lake. You know what I mean? And I want the tool that is going to do that most effectively for me. So that's why I like to make, like, the fact that I can work with Throwback and have a say in on the lures that we're making is cool, because I can design something that might catch you guys a PB, that might catch you guys a giant fish, and that's sick. Yeah. It all ties back into our community.
Like the what was the Wake Walker that guy had that caught hundreds of fish and 20 PBs.
Everybody does good on him. You know what I mean? Wake Walker's one of
the paint is so durable.
It's like one of the most revered wake baits ever now. Like, dude, that thing gets bit. People know. Like, you go fish that thing.
So I haven't thrown one yet. Mm-hmm. I haven't thrown a wake walker.
You'd probably really like.
I'm really big into my OG shell crackers, my black dog shell crackers. I just don't want to give them up. You see it's on my keychain.
They work.
Yeah,
they work.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're smaller, so they're a different category of wake bait. And you got Wake Walker, which is a multi-joint, right? And then you got your
the one that I don't give up, and I throw this one, and I don't really post about it very often, but the 316 baby wake is ridiculous. Yes. Like that one and the Wake Walker, you could have those two and never buy another wake bait in your entire life. Those two baits are solid, and I always there's always a time where that 316 baby wake is going to get bit better than the Wake Walker, or just the Wake Walker's not getting bit. I'm like, oh, well, here's the baby wake, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Baby wake, like something about the two-piece and the way the resin is that Mickey pours, it's just like, dude, that bait is nuts. Everything that Mickey makes is insane. I love Mickey.
So if I had to pick my wake baits that I like, I have 3 that I really, really like. And this, I guess, is a testament to my age.
Right.
Because I'm almost double. I'm old head, right? My go-to has always been non-build OG shell cracker by Black Dog, right?
And I have fished one of those.
Yeah.
And those are sick.
And
I've
then
caught some good fish on it.
I would say that my second one, so that would be considered my medium-sized bait. And then like an 8-inch MS Slammer or something would be my second.
Yeah.
And then my third one.
The old broomstick.
Yeah. My third one, I do like the 316s, but I do have a bunch of those 316s. Yeah. But I think my third favorite one of all time has to be not the 316. It has to be... I was in Japan when I bought this. It was a Mega Bass or Ito Engineering Monster Jack Jr. Have you seen those with the metal Ito?
Yeah.
It comes in a really cool case.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I haven't fished that one, but I'll take your word for it.
I will. I probably have some to give away. So.
Oh, nice. Maybe I'll fish
Actually, I think I have one in the store. You can have one.
No, I don't need any more wake baits.
No, you do. Everybody does. You'll never find replacement parts. That bait's like 15 years old.
I don't need any more wake baits.
Yeah. But there's all sorts of cool things. I thought there was a boat coming.
No boat's coming. Look at the pool spitting water at us.
Oh, man. Dude, it blows my mind. Like, I really want to just go cruise around and see how many stray boats are. There was a boat.
We could cruise through the street right now. We could drive down, and with the kayaks. We could drive down the street in the kayaks right now.
That'd be really cool. I really want to go launch the bass boat in this lake since it's never been in. But
it would go hard.
I heard if I get caught, they're going to take away my lake privileges for a year.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I heard I'm not allowed to film on it either.
What?
You could film on it. I can't film on it.
Why can't you film on it?
Because it's private. I don't know.
It's your own. You own the lake, the house. You own the lake. Like,
I know. Like I film a lot in my backyard. Yeah. I mean, the backyard's phenomenal. Like this backyard pumps them out all day long. But I put a lot of work into the management of that.
Right.
Of the shoreline.
True. Yeah, you got some solid little brush piles out there.
Yeah, we need to sink like 4 or 5 more.
It's funny because I can talk about this stuff and no one can fish it. So it's just,
Except I went on Fish Brain the other day because all these customers talk about Fish Brain. I don't know if you guys viewing or watching use Fish Brain before. There's my daughter. She's giving us a little wave.
Hello.
And I went on Fish Brain. I was like, well, what's the deal with this? I figured maybe it would help. Maybe if I shared some waypoints or reports, might help people. I'm okay with that. I don't care about sharing my stuff as long as someone else can show me that spot.
I'm not a Fish Brain fan.
But
go ahead though.
There's 2 waypoints on Fish Brain.
On here?
In my backyard.
What?
Yes, I'm not even kidding. There's 2 waypoints on Fish Brain.
How do people know?
I don't know how.
I hate Fish Brain.
I don't know who this person is, but it said that they were visiting from out of town, which I know how many people that was. But then if I go to the map here, right, and then I start to zoom in, and then we'll go to my house.
What?
There's 2. Oh, there's a new waypoint right here.
Why?
Right in front of my house. Let's find out what this one says.
Well, I guess that one's on the other side, so it's
I don't know.
Casting.
Oh, that's a customer. That's a customer of the shop.
They know. You told them that.
No, they don't know. Like, I don't tell people. Like, he straight up.
Did he come in
yesterday? Do you guys see that marina directly behind my house?
If you're cooking or doing chores right now,
yes,
there's a marina behind us.
There's a marina behind us right now.
It's on the other side of the lake.
He is in the marina, which is gated in.
Wow.
It's like, seriously.
He caught a fish over there where I thought there were fish.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't phenomenal. And then you got this guy who posts
What?
Like, it's literally at my house right here. There's the one's a catfish,
Nice.
right? And then the other one is
Dude,
a
okay.
little dinker.
Okay. So look, I have like this is like maybe this is controversial. Fish brain, I feel like definitely hurt fishing in general, like as a total thing. Like I don't know. I'm like, man, if you comment a spot name or an address on my videos, I delete that comment immediately, right? Like I am skimming constantly because I think it is just a little absurd that you would go out of your way to let everyone know, hey, I know where this spot is, this spot.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, maybe people don't understand, right? And if you don't understand, I'm like I'm telling you right now, it's not cool. It's like an unwritten rule, you know what I mean? You don't give out people's spots to the public, you know. And I know that like I post stuff online for people to view, but let people find it on their own. You know what I mean? Even if it's on Ladybird or something like that, let people go figure it out on their own. Like if you want to find a good spot, like the way I find good spots is that I put on my mud boots and I go out there and I look for a good spot. You know what I mean? I don't think that posting about spots and Googling good spots is like the way to do it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't strike me as very like it doesn't strike me as the correct fisherman etiquette.
This is blowing my mind because that kid that I just showed you,
Yeah, he's all over the
also
lake.
in an area that is very hard to get to. In the spot that
he's posting it.
Yeah,
Why are
he's
you posting
posting
it? Don't post it. Just leave it ambiguous. Post it, but don't post the spot. You know.
Part of what I love, and everyone's like, because everyone's like, Anthony, why don't you go saltwater fishing? You can catch so many more fish.
Yeah.
Well, one, you know that I don't really like to eat fish.
Yeah.
Except we ate sushi twice this week.
We did eat sushi, and it was so good.
But I personally don't like to eat fish. But I don't like to go saltwater fishing because it's just like, if I'm out fishing a wreck or something like that, I'm just dropping down.
Right.
Ooh, I got something.
Yeah.
But the thing that I thrive the most for is trying to find the patterns and putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Right.
And like at the end of the day, some of the best days where you learn stuff is the days that you don't even catch a single thing.
Yeah.
Because the tournament guys, they like to say, "Oh, I'm eliminating water."
Right.
Yeah, and that's true. You're finding out, why did I not catch any of those days? Like, what did I do wrong? But then the most rewarding days are like, I would say the absolute most rewarding days are when you work so freaking hard to figure it out, and then you get the first bite, and you're like, wait, let's think about 30 seconds before. What was I doing? Was it a rock? Did I bump into something?
Right.
And then you can repeat everything throughout the whole entire lake, and you're trying to find. That's what I love about bass fishing. Is every day is a new challenge.
No, I agree.
Stick them yesterday, might not stick them today.
I truly enjoy the hunting aspect of looking for a big fish, the day by day, what goes into it, like, and it's sort of like what you're talking about, but on like a years long schedule.
Yes.
Like I'm going out every day trying to figure out, when are these big fish moving around? When am I getting to interact with them? When do I actually get them to eat? And the whole chase is like part of it. You know what I mean? Like just actually catching the fish is just like the icing on the cake.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The whole cake has layers, you know what I mean? And like, I get it, right? If you like to go out, and I do too. I love to go to Florida, and I love to skip a big giant soft bait and just get obliterated by a snook and have it drag me around. That is so fun, all right? And I get it. If that's all you want to do, go for it, right? For me, I really enjoy the subtleties in bass fishing. I enjoy, like I said, I enjoy the community, because the thing about bass fishing is that anyone in the world can catch a bass, right?
Yep.
Saltwater is a limited group, right? You either have to live next to the ocean, or you have to have money to be able to buy a boat that can go out to the wrecks, stuff like that. It's limiting. So you have to be a certain class to go saltwater fishing, you know what I mean? It might be the better fishing option if you like catching fish, but the thing about bass fishing is that you can catch a bass in a puddle, in a lake, in a river, and in Canada, in Mexico, in the United States, in Japan, in Africa. Doesn't matter where you are. In France, I got a buddy over in France who's catching, A Fishing View.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, you can catch a bass anywhere, and that like brings everyone together so in like such a nice way, where it's like we're all going for the same goal. You know what I mean? And it may not be the biggest and best fish in the world, but they are everywhere, and that sense of community is amazing. You don't get that from stripers. You don't get that from redfish. You don't
get that from fly fishing.
No, you don't. You know what I mean? Because not everyone can do that. But anyone can pick up a rod and go catch a bass. That is amazing. You know what I mean? And then to excel at that, to know that all these people are doing it and you're the one who's having success is a cool feeling, you know?
It reminds you of when I went to Japan for
Mm-hmm.
the first time, and I broke away from my group of friends, and I went out to Lake Biwa to go fish. I
Yeah.
caught the train. I walked the shore. There's some. At the time I didn't know anything
Right.
about fishing. Like, I knew a good amount, but I wasn't as like what I am today about fishing, and I don't think I'm that great in the first place. But I was out there. I met another angler. Don't speak a lick of English.
Right.
I don't speak a lick of Japanese. But the craziest thing is that we understood what each of us were actually saying,
Right.
and we were able to have that conversation about fishing because we shared that same passion, that same joy.
Right.
And the nicest thing was he gave me right back to this like little hostel I was staying at in Kyoto, which was like an hour away.
That's so
Like,
nice.
He was just like a good dude, and then I gave him a black dog lunker punker as a thank you. I carried
little
a whole
gifts.
big backpack full of lunker punkers.
Full of gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that is like the thing for me is that the fact that you can find that sort of community sense anywhere in the world with bass fishing. It just doesn't happen with saltwater fishing, you know what I mean? Or certain, not just saltwater, not to bash saltwater fishing, but anything, you know what I mean? Like trout and redfish and stripers, like that just doesn't happen because not everyone can do that,
No.
you know what I mean? The fact that anyone can catch a bass is so unifying and creates this awesome sense of community, and that's why it's so popular. It's not because they fight hard, you know what I mean? It's not because they're the big fish. It's not because of any of that. It's because everyone can do it. And I don't know. There is. You can't deny that going out and catching a bunch of bass is fun. Like, or catching a big bass, dude. When you hook up with anyone, even if you're a saltwater angler, if you hook up with an 8-pound, 9-pound largemouth, it's exciting. You're like, whoa, this came out of this little pond or this creek and it's jumping and it's got a big old head.
I tricked this thing.
Dude, it freaks you out. You're like, whoa, I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? No one's just going to reel that in and not feel any emotion. Like
The heart dropping experience when you set the hook and it's like a
It doesn't
log.
move.
Just dead weight. You're like, oh, God. And
anyone
it starts.
Anyone can feel that. You know what I mean? Anyone. I love that. I love bass fishing, dude. And that brings it back. That brings it all the way back. Like, why would you start a tackle shop? It's for this love of bass fishing.
I love it. I love it so much.
I love bass fishing. I do. I really do.
I mean, with that, I think with the bass fishing stuff, the passion about it, it's the younger generations watching them do it too. Like,
Right.
we're seeing kids catching, like 11-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids hucking big glides out there. Like, I want to learn this. They follow your
Right.
channel. They come into the store like, oh, you're friends with that guy Marshall. I see these big baits, and like when they find out the price of some of them, they're just like, oh, I don't know if I can afford that. Sometimes I have to call the parents ahead of time, be like, your kid's in here. Is this okay? Are they allowed to buy this? Because da-da-da-da-da. And then they'll go get something like a lower cost one, like a Spro, KGB, or a River to Sea, S-Waver. But then they'll tag me, and they put this photo up, and I just look at them like, how come these kids catch them easier than I do? But I love it. I love to see how much they love it. I hope that the passion doesn't die within, and we'll just keep spreading that word.
Right. It's a happy thing. Like sometimes you go out, man, and just like fishing sometimes in your life is the only thing that will make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be having a rough time and maybe even just like shit isn't going quite right, but you go out fishing and sometimes it all clicks. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. If I'm having a rough time and like fishing will give you rough times too, but it's always something that you can come back to and it's there. You know what I mean? It is there for you. It will be a one constant in your life. No matter what happens, no matter what changes happen, you will always be a fisherman. And that's a wonderful thing. That is a wonderful thing. And you'll always have people that you can connect with through that sport, and that's sick. I love that.
So you're saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll have friends and community for a lifetime.
Truthfully, right there. I feel like that's a good ending note.
Very.
I feel like we talked everything. We're gonna go. I don't know. I gotta pee again, and
I'm actually gonna make you tie that spinnerbait on later.
Yeah, and
we're gonna have you huck it over the brush piles and see if we catch them. But seriously, I definitely enjoyed this.
That was cool. Yeah. So episode 1 of the Bass and Bums Talk Show. I like bass, and we're both kind of bums in a way. Yep. You're not as much of a bum as me, but you're still kind of a bum at heart.
I wear dirty clothes. I wear bummy everything.
Anthony's a bum at heart. Yeah, I enjoyed this. Let me know thoughts, criticisms. What do you guys want to hear? Who do you want to come on? Like I said, I think having a talk show podcast thing, it's kind of the new thing. It's hip, but I feel like there's some opportunities for me to drop some knowledge, to talk about stuff, to have guests on that are very fun, and just maybe spread some positivity in the world. Like I said, bring it all back around. It's about the community. This is a nice little piece of the community that I can add to my YouTube channel. If you guys would like to go support Anthony, Tackle Shack TX on Instagram, at Tackle Shack TX. Come into the shop in Cypress. You want to pick up some swim baits. We got Roman made stuff. We got depths. We got G-Crack. We got all the good stuff. There's some really cool stuff in there. It's a great mom and pop shop. Supports the community. It's a good business, right? So make sure you guys go support. If you want to check my stuff out, make sure you go sub to the Patreon if you'd like to support financially. If you can't, like and subscribe. That helps enough. And that's all I got to say. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you for having me on.
Peace out. Perfect. Wonderful. Cut.